Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in again. I'm going to go through a couple more examples for you guys of how I achieved this monogram and just having this type fill this circle shape. Sorry. Let's go ahead and jump right in. For this, I like using very geometric letter forms without curves just because it's a little easier to manipulate them. Curves present a new challenge, but what I used here was United by House Industries, and it's sans serif, so I think sans regular. Let's just do medium. NYSCO is what I did. So maybe even light. Do medium. And I'm going to create outlines. For this, I did work off of a sketch, so it's probably good to do that. Sorry that I didn't throw it in here. But these letters are fairly easy to manipulate, and you just grab your direct select tool and drag them down. Take these up. And when you do this, don't hold shift or anything. It's going to put on a 45 for you. Just keep them on the same angle, and you'll just see the lines overlap. And you just want to keep it very similar to what it is. For the C and the O, I have it nestled inside, so let's go ahead and just drag these out, get them away from the other letters. And what I like to do is hold shift and nudge, and just remember what you do to each side. So like 2 nudges here. If you want it, you can do 2 nudges here too, but it doesn't matter really for this. But like for an S, when you're adjusting one side, you want to adjust the other side the same. So it's good to remember that. And let's go ahead and get that in there. What we can do is use our normal selection tool. I'm going to ungroup them first. Center those, and you'll see that it's centered, but it optically looks off. We want it to kind of fill this space here. Somewhere like there looks pretty good. So maybe the C is just a little bit too tall, and this isn't going to be exactly the same as the left, but I just wanted to just show you guys what I did in order to get there. Let's grab both of these and just get it somewhere close to there. And for the S, I'm dragging this out quite a bit. You can just get it centered and see, we still have a little bit of work to do in terms of getting it out further, but now when you have it over the top of these letters, it gets tricky, so you can just individually select the points that you want to drag out. I'm going to do this. We got to do it to the top as well. Same here, just so that's even. Let's go ahead and just get this, and something like that looks pretty good. So the N is what we have left. You see, we don't want to drag it out because it's going to make it thicker for us. So let's go ahead and just grab these. I guess I should have grabbed these with it. Let's just get this to a height that's pretty close to what we want. We're going to do that. Kind of adjust it, so we still need to go just a little bit wider. So I'm going to just grab these points here. Take it. Nope, forgot that one. Take it out. Let's do a little bit more. Something like that. We can maybe go one step out. Somewhere like that, just so that it's pretty centered. And so we have the framework now for our monogram, and it's really close, so we just have to do a couple things to kind of delete those spaces around there. And what I'm going to do is just draw little boxes and just make sure that they're lined up. If you just hold them on that edge, it will snap it to that edge. But what I'm going to do is just turn these white, and that way we can just kind of have a good framework for what we're working with. And you'll see I didn't end up doing it there, but let's grab this edge here and just it's not going to snap to grid sometimes. So again, if you do Command R and use your rulers, if you draw a guide out to that point and then come back here and grab your anchor point, it will snap to that guide. So that's one thing you can always do, and just Shift Option click this over, and it's going to make another copy of it for you. And we're going to do the same on the bottom of the S here. So you can just click and hold Shift, drag those down, and it's going to be lined up perfectly. So I like to use the same space. I'm going to just make a copy of that, and we're going to put this here. So see, I didn't want to snap to the guide for us. So if you draw a guide in there, grab this anchor tool, draw it back, and we're going to do the same to the top of this S, or the C, sorry, right here. So draw your guide down, just Shift Option click that to make a copy. We're getting in the we're getting close there. So what I'm actually going to do is grab these that are separating the Y and the C, and I'm gonna go ahead and just trim those, ungroup it, and I'm going to grab those, delete them, and then this interior, you'll see we don't need the interior of that Y anymore, so we're going to start to clean this up, and it's just helpful. It starts to get a little bit less confusing, but let's go ahead and just keep dragging these out to where they need to be. Draw your guides just so you can snap the anchor points to the guide and have it be perfectly lined up. Do the same here, and I'm going to grab those, the S, and I'm going to go ahead and trim, ungroup, and you'll see that it brought this letter on top of those shapes that we had already drawn in there. So let's go ahead and delete that end of that, and then let's just select this full S, send it to back, and you can do Object, Arrange, Send to Back. That's what I did. I just used a keyboard shortcut for it. So that's good. We have that sorted out, and let's go ahead and just clear this N because that's just kind of confusing seeing it in there. So if we just take the shape, I know this is on a 4, and hold Option when you drag it out, just so you don't steal that one from that spot. If you hold Shift, it's on a 45-degree angle, and same as the letter. So let's just snap the sorry, let's get it. I'll zoom in there just so I can be a little bit more sure. See, drag it away. Get it so that it's not really wanting to. Sometimes I just zoom in because it's trying to align it with something else in the document, but there we go. So I'm going to just make a copy and do the same down here. And you'll see this is this N diagonal isn't perfectly going through the this S like I would like, but it's easy to change that. Let's go ahead and sorry, I'm going to step back. There we go. If you ever double click an item, it will pull into here for you, but if you just arrow out of this, it will step back for you. So if you grab both of those, your N, let's go ahead and trim them, ungroup, Shift Command G will ungroup. Let's do that. Let's delete this, and let's actually, I'm just going to grab these and hold Shift when I drag it. Just try and center it between there a little bit. Oh, don't want to do that. I'm just going to step back a few. Do that. So there we go. Let's go ahead and let's finish this up by getting the space here on the side of the S. So again, just make a copy. Let's turn our guides back on. I'm going to draw a guide out to the C, and grab this anchor point, just align it to that. Go ahead and trim this, ungroup it, and we're going to delete that. And you'll see here, pulled that when you ungroup it, sometimes it will pull that object on top. So just make sure that all of our spaces are deleted that we need, and this looks good. I'm going to kind of adjust that a little bit, kind of center it back up. So when I do that, I'm just gonna want to drag this so that, oh, not that. I want to use the direct selection tool, grab this, get these 2 points, and just drag that so that this space remains the same. And what it looks like over here, this space was the same on both the left and the right. So you can adjust these just a little bit. What we can do is just draw a little guide square in there. We know we want it to butt up against that, so I'm going to grab this. There we go. It's off-centered, but just these are some adjustments you can make when you're working on it. There we go. You know this O is off-center from the Y, but just spend some more time kind of setting up your letters. I just wanted to move through this quickly to demonstrate how to actually make these cuts. But anyway, just sorry about that, but you get the idea. If you just work around with your letters a little bit more, you'll get it right. But see, we still have these white spaces, so let's go ahead and trim it, ungroup everything. Let's go ahead and just delete those. And let's select this C over here. Your fill is a little bit confused, so let's just grab our black, select same fill color right there, Command 3 to hide it. I'm just going to click and drag and head to interior of that O. I'm going to unhide it, and now we have our shape. So it's all one. You can go ahead and group a Command G, or you Command G it and make it one object, and you'll be good to go. So now let's move on to this to show you one last demonstration before moving into the third unit of the lessons, which will be on texture and finishing them up and getting some little fun elements to them. So what I did for this is started with a circle, and I'm gonna take my ellipse tool again by hitting L, and don't hold shift this time. You can hold option to drag it out from the center, and just try and get this to be pretty close to the bottom of that shape over on the left. So what I'm going to do is make a copy of this, copy Command C, Command F to place it on front, grab it, hold shift object and drag out just to put that space in between there. And we're going to go ahead and just divide this, ungroup it by shift Command G, or come up to object, ungroup. Let's delete the stuff that we don't want. So we do want this. Let's go ahead and flip this so that it's a stroke. See, like these rounded edges on there. So I'm gonna just do that over here in my stroke palette. If you select the round cap, round join, it's gonna make those nice and round edges for you. So let's just get it close. It's not exactly the same because I'm just drawing this and using it as a demonstration. But you can spend some time with those shapes. But this is just a fun way to do that. And what we're going to do now is, because we want to set up a guide for this interior space and how far we want our interior type to be. So I'm going to copy this, Command C, Command B, paste them back. I'm going to come over here, change my stroke color, and I'm going to make it thicker. And change this just so, you know, get it to a place where you feel comfortable having your type. And that looks pretty good there. So what I'm going to do now is do Object, Path, Outline, Stroke, and I'm going to select all of these and just trim them. No, sorry, not trim. Let's go ahead and the reason this is happening is this stroke here. Let's go ahead and select these and do Path, Outline, Stroke. And so now if we trim, ungroup them, let's go ahead and just delete the outer one, and I'm going to just drag these copies over. Actually, select both of them. Shift Option click them just to keep those. And I'll show you why in a second. But we're going to take this, do Command 5, and that's going to turn them into guides for us. I'm going to go ahead and just delete those other guides that I had drawn in for the upper parts, and now we can start fresh with our guides. Go View, Guides, Lock Guides. I'm actually going to delete the outer one, and these are going to, I'm going to just use these as strokes because these are going to become part of our letters. So first of all, thinking about what type I want to use, I wanted to use something that looked funky, something that looked a little bit 70s. So I ended up using Chalet, Comprime, actually it's, yep, right here, in Milan 70. So this is just a thin weight to it, and you'll see it's, it's relatively close. It's feeling definitely 70s and funky-ish, and so that's a little too, I think it's going to be a little too hard to read, so I'm going to change this to Milan 80, just to change it up in there. And so let's go ahead and, let's see, I just wanted to real quick see if there was a thinner weight to this. Nope, there's not. So we're just going to drag this out, and so I'm just using this as a base. Let's get that end close to what we want, and that's pretty close. So we're going to actually track this in because they're going to be a lot closer together. Probably not quite that close, but that's pretty good. You can go ahead and create outlines on it. And what I'm going to do is actually bring that over because this is our interior guide, so if we know it's the same height there, we're good. So I'm just going to make sure that these are centered. Mainly what we want to do is make sure our N is looking centered, and I'm going to lock that and actually just grab the pen tool and grab a bright stroke. I'm just going to draw the letters because we're going to want them to be a little bit thinner than that, and maybe just a touch more narrow. But if you hold shift, don't hold shift there, but hold shift here, we're going to get that. Let's come over here and round these edges is what I did. So something like that, I think looks good. Let's actually drag these in just a little bit. So we do the same for this K, except let's just be working within what we already have, and you'll see over here kind of have that F, the K, those crossbars, and the Y where it connects set on another little circular angle. So I'm going to just draw a guide real quick here so I know where I'm dragging this. So it's centered. It's up a little bit higher than that, but what I'm going to do is turn that into a guide, Command 5, and come back to my pen tool. Again, we want these to be just a little bit narrower. So I'm going to come in here and just using this letter as a base, draw that, and I'm actually going to just take this, make a copy, transform it, horizontal. Actually, it's not going to work because this angle is going to be off. So, sorry about that. Just come back here, make sure you're lined up with the base of it. Hold shift. And let's go ahead and just draw that curve in there, and draw our U. this down. Around there. So now I think what we can do is Command Option to unlock what we had locked. Let's delete this, and looks like my my U is just a little bit too wide. So let's drag this in. So let's just get this so that the letter spacing is, nope, I left that behind, we don't want to do that. Let's grab that, and let's get it so that our letter spacing is pretty dang close. Drag these so that they're just touching this space, because that's our inner guide from what we started with. Drag these, oh, we don't want to do that. Just want to grab these. Take them to where they need to be. You know, and this is still looking a little just too wide for me. Oh. Sorry, let's just step back. Missed that point there. And we'll just have to adjust these. That's pretty good. And so now, let's go ahead and grab this and just have it be the same weight. So if you just sample that, it's going to work pretty good for you. And turn our guide back on so we'll see we have this. And for my F, what I did is use the Add Anchor Point tool and just keep that, that gap pretty similar there. What I'm going to do is just add one there. If you hit A, delete that, and then A, let's not delete that, let's place a point here for where our Y comes in, and then delete this, so it will just leave the portion of the curve that we want. And so I'm actually going to just grab the pen tool, place a point right there. Actually start out here and just apply your point there, and drag that so that it matches that curve. So that's pretty close. And you'll see, my letter spacing's off, but you can just play around with those. Drag out the Y or the U, have it be a little wider. You can make all your letters a little wider so that we're, not stuck with short or just uneven spaced letters. So for this Y, kind of funky, but doing something like that, and then I just grab my, actually I need to delete this, so now there we go. Just to look back over here, I just did a curve from here down to here, and it's a little bit different, but by adjusting and playing, it looks like my angle was different where I had that crossbar. But you guys get the idea of what I'm doing, and it's just what I wanted to show is how I kind of use that outer circle to actually have those letters fit for you, or turning that outer shape into the letters, just so you can ensure it's going to perfectly line up inside of this. And what I did for the type was similar. We know it's 4 letters, so TY and then PE. So what we can do is just draw our letters. You can imagine what these look like. And let's just go ahead and start here, come up to the top. You can use that outer letter if you want, or you can draw this to match it. It's just using the outer part of it is really going to ensure it's the exact same curve. Just to see how that pops up a little bit there. It's pretty close. And you can, when you connect that back, it looks a little bit different, but you can take your time drawing these curves. That's what I did. Draw those curves around there and just, stylize those letters a little bit. But I'm just going to save you guys the time instead of going through it, just because it's very similar to what you did up here, where you use parts of those outer letters and use your add anchor point tool and your delete anchor point tool and just get that type set up. Draw your guide so you can have the crossbars all match on this. So like on this P, for instance, drag it down to there. Same with the E, you could have your crossbar there, but just use that shape to really get your type. And then from the previous video, draw your circle. And what you can do here is take your width, just copy this, grab this circle, paste your width in there, and it was actually really close. But if you take your type on path tool, type it in there, and then you can type that around there. And I believe I used Grover. This is huge, but let's just tone that down. And online class, go ahead and center this, grab this little handle there, and you can drag that out so that it's centered, and just, oh, it's a little too small. Just adjust this until it's the right size. And if you come up here, just place it right on top, and there you go. One thing I did want to show you though is so this is going to be at Skillshare, and we want that to be on the bottom. So when you drag it down here, see how it puts it on the inside, and if you just put it back up here, it's going to be in the way. So if you have that selected, do type on a path, options, and preview this, but align to path, do your ascender, and it's going to be the top of the letter. So go ahead and hit OK, and you'll see it's spaced off just a little bit, but you can use this to adjust your baseline shift and just get it so that it's the same. Select both of those. You can drag them out now just to space it out a little bit, but anyway, after completing the type in there, that's what you would get. And then just some last little thoughts on aligning type around your path. But anyway, I hope I'm not being too vague there to finish that up. I just don't want to take too much of your guys' time, because showing you just how I got funky to fit that shape, it's exactly the same for type. So I just don't want to waste your guys' time. I want you to be able to get into Illustrator and get your hands dirty and start doing this stuff yourself. But anyway, I hope that that you guys have found these videos helpful. And I'm going to shortly be uploading our videos on texture in the 3rd unit, so stay tuned for those, just to show you some final finishing techniques with texture and some things in that nature. But anyway, thank you guys a bunch, and I hope that you have a good one. Bye.